And for some 40 some odd years, had a very good relationship, I think, with the city. This past year, I've noticed a very distinct, unfriendly, and indifferent attitude from the city planner. First I was told he couldn't go in, and he went down by himself, says, well, maybe you could go in, let me see the lease, let me see some other things and credentials. Fellow says, Hispanic fellow, he just tried there for several days, and it got discussed. It went over to the city of Chambly. They gave him a license right quick. The third is a man who put in, a company put in hardwood flooring. I thought, well, that's a slam dunk. That's no big deal. I mean, over the years, we've had this kind of business in here before. Turned out after about a week and a half. So folks, we have a major problem. And many owners of these buildings are going to see their properties decrease in value as they cannot get, bring tenants in, they cannot get business licenses, which means vacancy. You know, we're fighting a bad economy right now. We surely don't need to fight city planning and zoning that is indifferent and even unfriendly, and this is what we've got.
I moved here in 1975, like Mr. Harpin said, there was a 2-lane highway. It was like ghost town. Only one Korean restaurant was in the 6th Street by Mr. Lee. Since then, a beautiful highway really grown, and I was happy to see that. But it seems like now we're heading back to ghost town, where you, the city council have this make difficult. And those taxpayers are paying your salary, isn't it? And you make difficult for their businesses, and you make uncomfortable for them to grow a business here. And I am so glad that I don't have a business in Doraville. I have all other county, but I don't have a business in Doraville. And I don't know how long I'm gonna stay as a resident. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is John Moon. I'm part of a Korean Wholesale Association, and I have a business at Doraville Plaza. I'm pretty sure that you heard enough concern from us, but I'd like to address a little bit different point of view, which is how the Korean Association get together and change our the attitude towards the city or community and doing business in Doraville. We have a business, the wholesale business in Doraville area, and a lot of people running their business more than 20, 30 years. So when we formed a Doraville Korean Wholesale Association last May, due to a zoning change and licensing issue, we got together and thought about how we're going to solve this problem. And we have actually 2 ways to solve, I guess, a fight against a city or work with the city. But we decided to work with the city because we thought that last 20, 30 years as a business, we did not contribute towards a city or a community, mainly because of a language barrier, the issue. However, when you look at a current business owner, they're changing ownership from first generation to 1.5 or second generation, who understands how society works, how and also the English is not a barrier anymore. So the way we, the association doing business, change the business the way so we support the city. And as a matter of fact, last Doraville this day, a bunch of our association get together and support the city, and also we're trying to organize like cleaning at the Doraville area to support the community. The point being is we've been changed to work with the city and work with the community. Look around us. We work with the DBA. We work with the Chinese community business, and we work forward to show that we're willing to, unlike the previous history, we're willing to work with a city, community, and any other business. That will help Doraville growing in the future. So I'm simply addressing again, you heard enough negative or concern from us, but at the same time, there are positive movement among us to support a city and community. So please consider our the openness, and then hopefully work all together as a one group. Thank you so much.
I'm a state, for those that don't know me, I'm a state senator in the Georgia General Assembly. In these economic times, when the vacancy rate in the city of Atlanta and in metro Atlanta is above 40%, and once you focus in on actually the metro area, and people can move anywhere, and I've heard a lot of longtime residents, I'm actually a native Atlantan, but that type of loyalty doesn't exist anymore. With that type of vacancy rate, I would just be very concerned about the turnaround times and about the issue that I checked off more than half of the people mentioning unfriendliness. There's nothing you can legislate, and some of the things that you may have to look at may not have to do with the laws, because I'm very well aware of when we're down in the legislature, some of the issues that come up are not that, oh, well, we need to change a law, we need to change an ordinance. No, it's maybe we need to change how we're applying things, how we're doing stuff, how we're enforcing it, or who we're enforcing, who's doing the enforcing, so that things get done timely and friendly. I know that because I have the advantage of representing about 160,000 people. I do know that cities like Norcross have people there whose job it is apparently to smile in whatever, and they can smile in multiple languages. I'm really impressed. And to make sure that things get processed quickly. And to make sure that if someone is being told no, they're being also told what they can do to change no to a yes, or if no means no way. But those are some things you may want to look at, are the people issues. Because ultimately in a small town, y'all are doubling a city council person, chief cook, bottle washer, and HR department. And so you may want to check that, because literally unfriendliness was mentioned by more than half the people. And one particular person, and it took me a second to realize it was a person and not a department, was mentioned by more than a third of the individuals. And this is a person, I wouldn't know their name, I wouldn't know them from Adam's house cat. The only other things that I would say start sounding more like a lawyer, and that is when people with deep pockets start using the term arbitrary and capricious. And I'm not saying that that individual said that with anything in mind. It's just that I, as a lawyer, start thinking, well, geez, win or lose, that's a huge expense of a lawsuit that will just tie up the county and prevent y'all from moving forward regardless, and create nothing but animosity between the two communities. But usually when business people start using those kind of terms, it's because someone's told them to use those type of current terms. They're sending a message. And it's an expensive message if people want to go down that road. And I would hate to see the city get divided up along those lines, because y'all have some of the best infrastructure and some of the best potential infrastructure, from the old rail lines at the GM plant to the existing rail lines to the MARTA lines to all of the expressways. You have such a huge opportunity to create to make one of the best towns in Metro Atlanta one of the best cities in the state. I would hate to see y'all get sort of bogged down in arguing about it, especially when, you know, half of this appears to be about unfriendliness and processing time.